Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. You're at the quarterly meeting of the Connecticut Commission on America 250. And the first announcement I have to make is it's 2026. This is our first meeting of the year of the commemoration of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, July 4th, and of course, many other events related to that, leading up to it, following it. I am Denise Merrill. I am the chair of the commission, former secretary of the state, and with me is Jason Mancini, who is the chair of the vice chair of this commission and head of the Connecticut Humanities Council, who is administering this commission. And we are in, I think, our fourth year of activity, and we have done a lot. And I just wanted to draw your attention quickly to this little cheat sheet of all the activities that have gone on until now in Connecticut. We are the Connecticut Commission. There is also a national commission, as you all know, and we are responsible for coordinating the activities of the many towns that are now doing activities out there in Connecticut. And just as an example, we have 180 Connecticut affiliate organizations that we have coordinating with, and more all the time are joining up. We have 129 local committees that are doing activities at the local level, and many events and a statewide calendar with, I think, over 200 events on it at this point. So there's a lot going on. Suddenly, everyone realizes it's the year of the commemoration, so it's time to get busy. So I know we have some people here in person. I know there are some online joining us, and this event is being recorded by and televised by CTN. So just so you know, we have been commissioned by the governor. So this is a governor's commission, and we are responsible for all these activities and coordination. So thank you for being here. With that, anything, Jason, on your part?
Just a couple quick comments. Thanks, Denise. Yeah, to be a little bit more specific, 164 days or 5 weeks, 5 months, 1 week until July 4th. So the moment is here. This is a great opportunity. I just want to acknowledge and thank all of the commissioners, the committee members who have participated, our staff at Connecticut Humanities, and especially Cindy Tolosa and Rachel Gonzalez, who've really done the lion's share of work to make everything roll so smoothly here, and to convene us in all sorts of ways that make sense in this moment. So I'm incredibly grateful and just deeply appreciative. That is my principal speaking role today. Cindy's going to be doing a lot of talking because there's a lot of accomplishments that we've made during the course of this year. So I'll hand it off to Cindy.
Oh, except first we need to approve the minutes from the October 15th, 2025 meeting. The minutes are in your packet. Do I have a motion to approve or any discussion about it? First, let's get a motion to approve the minutes. Anybody? Thank you. Amherst Williams is making the motion. Second, Margaret Kahn. Any discussion about the minutes, corrections, omissions? Nothing? Okay. All in favor of approval of the minutes, please say aye. Any abstentions or suspension? Yep, thank you, Kathy Labadia. Okay, so moved. All right, we'll go on now. We'll go to Cindy for a national/regional update on the initiatives of America 250 nationally.
Wonderful. And just a quick reminder to folks, if you are speaking, please remember to turn on your microphone. That makes sure you're picked up by the cameras for those joining us via Zoom or joining us via YouTube. So we continue to work with the National Committee, which is America 250. They have asked us to share with our affiliate organizations and with our local committees, a variety of different initiatives that they're hoping will take off at a national level. First and foremost is an initiative launched this year titled America Gives, which is an effort to record volunteer hours throughout the country in 2026. Via the national portal, there is a way to add your volunteer hours. Up to 250 individuals will be chosen to help give away $1 million in donations at the end of the year based on those who have volunteered throughout the country. And the National Commission has a goal of 1 million hours volunteered in the year 2026. So that is available via their website. They are also operating America's Field Trip, which is a student essay and artwork contest, which will allow the winners to take a once-in-a-lifetime field trip to go behind the scenes at national parks and other sites of national relevance. We have had 2 second prize winners from Connecticut, but have not yet had a first prize winner, so are hoping to see that this year. And then we have Our American Story, which is an initiative to collect oral histories around the year that they're leading in partnership with Their Story. And then the final national initiative that they have asked us to consider is a time capsule. We will share the guidelines for that. It has to be an archival object or document that is added to the time capsule. They are fairly small, and they are asking all 50 states to contribute, along with the 6 territories. And they have worked with NASA to design a box that will be buried for 250 years and opened up in whatever that brings us to, 2276, for the 500th. So it'll be exciting, and we look forward to receiving any recommendations for what can be placed into that time capsule to represent Connecticut. So those are the major initiatives taking place with the National 250th Commission. There is another group, or another grouping of initiatives that are being led by the White House Task Force, and those are being called Freedom 250. We really don't have details to share with you all today, but just a heads up that you might be hearing about Freedom 250. And these are national initiatives that are tied to that White House task force and some of the other national agencies that are conducting 250th activities right now. So they are related, but America 250 is keeping their initiatives separate for that. We have also been working with the 250th Commission on sublicensing their logo and their wordmark. So America 250 holds the wordmark, which is broader than a trademark, for the phrase America 250. And so any of our local committees and affiliate organizations who are using that language are not allowed to use America 250 in any way that is commercial at all. So we have been communicating that out to the organizations that are partnering with us so that they are aware of those restrictions and can ensure that they're using other phrasing for anything that is commercial merchandising, fundraising, and other things like that. We are able to give them a sublicense to use the phrase America 250 and or choose to use the national logo. But those can only be used on non-commercial endeavors. We have listed all of the allowable uses of that and are being very clear about that with our partners across the state, and hoping that in so doing, we can protect them from any potential litigation from the National Commission. And as long as we have that sublicense agreement, the National Commission has been working with us to make sure to erase any outreach to local committees.
Can I ask a brief question about that? I want to be clear there, we have a Connecticut logo as well, which is not the same one as the national one is the one that has sort of waves on it and multicolored. I think ours, well, it's not up there anymore. Ours is a red, white, and blue with a Connecticut C. So be clear that I'm sure that's okay to use that logo, correct? Or is it?
It does still say America 250, so we still do need to have that sublicense agreement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? That was my question. I didn't realize that. Okay. So we need to be very, very clear about that because we don't want anyone to go against these licensing agreements.
Yeah.
Okay. But it is just commercial use.
Correct.
So you could have a website
Yep.
that has whatever logo you want. for
It can be the
example.
title in free events. It can
Oh,
be
okay.
used on street banners. A lot of folks are hoping to put up banners on lampposts and things like that as the year
Okay.
goes on. So there is a broad way to use America 250 as long as the sublicense agreement is signed.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just no commercial benefit from it.
So each town has to sign the sublicense agreement or
E-
each affiliate organization. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that because
Mhm.
that's an important point.
Of course.
Anybody else?
Any
Yeah.
other questions?
Okay. Thanks.
Cindy?
Yep.
Just a brief one. On the wonderful emails that I get, advertising America 250 swag, who's sending those out?
So those are coming from the National Commission. And there are also opportunities for states or local organizations to partner on swag with the National Commission. The cover sheet for the sublicensing agreement has the contact information for who to reach out to partner on the wide variety of swag, sweatshirts, t-shirts, coolers, and I can't think of what else I've seen, but there's been lots of different iterations.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Thanks, Cindy.
Great. And then finally, there are a few nationwide initiatives that have been largely started by other state commissions across the state or across the country. Utah has started America's Potluck, and there is a branding toolkit available to organizations and local committees who choose to host a potluck on July 5th of 2026. My America, we have a link here on the agenda to their work. They are a national organization that is distributing fabric squares to classrooms where students can share their wishes for America at the semi-quincentennial. And then those fabric squares will get stitched into a large American flag that will travel across the country. And then finally, the Spirit of America, an effort led by the Hawaii 250th Commission to have the Declaration of Independence read simultaneously across the country on Wednesday, July 8th, which is the 250th anniversary of when the Declaration was first read widely across the colonies in 1776. We are partnering with the Beinecke Library, which has always hosted a reading of the Declaration of Independence, to do an event with them that is the official Connecticut reading. However, we are also encouraging organizations and local committees who want to participate to also host their own reading. And we have linked through the agenda on the website a variety of different documents that can be incorporated into this reading. And a format that we encourage organizations to consider taking for this. So we'll continue to share out information primarily with local committees and affiliates to encourage participation as we move forward. Yeah. And I'll hand it off to Rachel to share about the Northeast gathering.
So the Northeast Regional Planning Group, I believe we discussed it at our last meeting, but it consists of all the New England states, New York, some Canadian provinces as well. They hold an annual gathering for planners, and Connecticut offered to host this year. Ridgefield's commission, Ridgefield Commemorates America at 250, is helping partner with us on this. So it is going to be held in Ridgefield on Monday, April 13th. So right before our next commission meeting, we'll have folks from all over the Northeast here in Connecticut to kind of see what we've been working on, and share what they've been working on as well. So the schedule for that is still getting kind of evened out, but it is going to be at the Keeler Tavern Museum and History Center. They'll definitely be giving us a tour, and we'll be hearing from folks in Ridgefield and others as well. So that's the plan. And we're going to, of course, send details as that comes closer, and we'll invite everybody on the commission and all of our partners to join us as well.
Great. Okay. Everybody set with all that? Thank you very much. We'll move on to the report about the July 4th plans for the Hartford Bonanza in the city of Hartford. Let's talk about what's actually going to happen on July 4th. Yeah. Hey, how are you? And turn on the mic and tell us your name. All that. Just, I think that one. Is that the right one? Yeah, try it. We'll push a button. Yes, there you go. Great.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for inviting us to speak here today. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm speaking on behalf of First Night Hartford. We host 2 annual celebrations for 37 years, our namesake New Year's Eve tradition, which just passed, and for the last going on 6 years, the Hartford Bonanza, which is the July 4th celebration that happens right behind us here in Bushnell Park. And as Connecticut's capital city, Hartford has a special role to play in the America 250 commemoration. We've been working hard since 2024, sort of parallel to this group, to prepare for the celebration, knowing that as the capital city, we would have increased eyes and pressure to produce something that was meeting the moment. How that moment would shape or look, I think it's changed many times in that period, and we're still here working hard to make that happen. Historically, the Bonanza has been a Hartford-focused event, a celebration rooted in the city, serving city residents first and foremost. We think that that's a strength and we're proud of it, but for 2026, we are welcoming the whole state. We are being conscious about finding ways to partner with this commission, folks across the state, to make sure that this is a celebration for the whole state that's joyful, full of Connecticut culture and civic pride. America 250 gives us a reason to do that thoughtfully, and it's not just an opportunity to grow bigger, but growing more connected. The Hartford Bonanza 2026 is designed as a free, inclusive, day-long civic arts festival that blends music, art, history, and community participation, culminating in a landmark fireworks moment over the state capitol right here. The intent is not just a commemoration or a celebration, but also a reflection of belonging. We're excited to show off this commission's chosen themes, which you guys all know, but telling inclusive stories, power of place, making history, and for the common good. We hope that this is a public moment that feels joyful, accessible, and meaningful, especially for families and communities who are often priced out of larger cultural events, and that's why it's important for our event to remain free. So what's sort of different about 2026? To meet sort of the scale of this moment, we are already expanding in concrete ways. Just for context, last year we had just over 20,000 people join us in Bushnell Park. We're expecting 50,000 next year in Bushnell Park, just sort of for the power of the moment. We've already announced a few public things. You may have seen our collaboration with the Hartford Symphony was just announced. They'll be on our main stage as part of our commemoration and backing up some of our other artists, which we're really excited about. The event will be longer than normal. The events that happen here as part of the flag raising ceremonies that the veterans put on will sort of kick off the day in many ways. And the events both in Bushnell Park and around the city will be going on from that point in the day until the fireworks go off around 10 o'clock. So it's going to be a big, long day. We plan to have multiple stages within the park. Like I said, programming throughout the city. And just this week, we met with sponsors who are excited about supporting, showing off Connecticut's great small businesses and leaders in the veterans community to make sure that that community has an important role to play in the day. And as I said, probably the largest fireworks presentation in the region. We had to sign a contract over a year ago to make sure we had fireworks for the capital city on July 4th, and it is not cheap. So we are excited and committed to making this something that, like we said, is a wonderful commemoration and celebration, but sort of meets the moment as well. Alongside that program growth, we've been intentionally working to broaden our regional partnerships with cultural institutions, artists, funders, and civic partners beyond Hartford. Our approach is collaborative by design, and we hope that you will see the Bonanza as a platform that others can plug into, including folks here in this room. If we've not connected already, we'd really value the chance to do so. Yeah, we are eager to align with the commission's work and to work with you more closely. We've been working with Cindy and Rachel and Jason for many months, more than a year now, and grateful for their commitment to making this all happen. But producing a celebration worthy of this sort of moment will require new resources and deeper partnerships. As a free, public, and inclusive festival, the Bonanza depends on a blend of private sponsorship, philanthropic support, and public collaboration. We have decades of experience producing these large-scale civic events and raising funds and operating responsibly, but the scale of America 250 and Bonanza 2026 demands substantially more. And we're ready to do that work, and we've already been doing it, as I've mentioned. But the Hartford Bonanza 2026 is an opportunity for Connecticut to gather in the capital city, mark this historic moment together joyfully, visibly, and inclusively. And we're excited to continue building this with you, and we welcome your ideas, connections, partnerships, and the opportunity to help meet the moment with you all.
Thank you so much. That's really exciting. I'm very excited about this, and we're all working together on this, which makes it nice too. We have some plans that the commission is going to participate to, so we'll try to help in any way we can. Thanks for your work. All right. Yeah. Anybody got questions about Bonanza and their big plans for this day? Okay, great. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Next, we have a review from Cindy Tolosa about the annual report. This is the annual report we submit each year to the governor about the activities of the previous year. And this is the draft report that we're talking to you about today. So go ahead, Cindy.
Remind myself to turn on my mic. So we have our 2026, well, really our 2025 annual report, which we will be presenting to the governor this month. There we go. So we are proud to report on our progress in 2025. It was a year full of outreach in particular. We grew our local committees by almost 100. I think we were at right around 30 this time last year, and we are now at 133 local committees throughout the state. We are so close, and we will, in this first quarter of this year, try to close that gap as much as possible. I can't commit that we'll get every single municipality on board, but I am certain that we will get many more. We've continued to share stories and that represent all of the people of Connecticut, both past and present, promoting the commission, our themes and resources. In coordination with municipal planners and affiliates, we've participated in 19 community events and 3 parades across the state. We've had media features in a variety of both print, radio, and television coverage, and we've had 192 events that have been submitted to the community calendar. This year, I think we've set ourselves a goal for 250, which I think is way too small, to be honest. We've already had over 35 events this month alone. And I think that will just continue to grow as we go through the rest of the year. So we have continued to build on and share the resource library for Connecticut history and resources connected to the commission's 4 themes. So those resources have been revamped on our website to make them easier to access. We have commission resources, resources for educators, resources for museums and other history organizations. Our staff here at Connecticut Humanities has developed curriculum materials for students in grades 3, 5, 8, and high school, which is where in the Connecticut State Social Studies frameworks, students learn about local history. And so we've developed specific 250th materials that are being used in classrooms across the state. We have continued to work to identify a 250th liaison in each municipality. As I said before, we're at 133 liaisons and are working to get another 36 to round out our map of municipalities. To encourage collaboration and inclusion of a variety of stakeholders, we have been having monthly calls with those local committees and quarterly calls with affiliates. We've also been sending monthly recaps to both affiliates and town committees with any new plans that have been made across the state and have been able to share that information and make sure that everybody is kept up to date. And we hosted our conference back in March of 2025, which now seems like many, many moons ago, but we had wonderful participation, about 250 individuals from cultural organizations, local planning committees, for-profits that see themselves as part of this commemoration. It was a really diverse and varied group of planners that all came together to envision how they will be involved in 2026. We've continued to invite the public to engage with our themes. Last year, one of our big initiatives was 2 Lights for Tomorrow. You'll see quite a few photographs in this PowerPoint of different towns that participated. So here we have the town of Stratford, which had 2 lights in front of their town hall. I can't quite remember now, but dozens of different municipalities and organizations participated and really used it as an opportunity to kickstart their 250th initiatives. We are continuing to work with partners, many of whom are represented here on the commission, to continue to think about how to engage the public with the 4 themes that the commission has developed. And we'll continue to bring those initiatives to the public throughout 2026. And then commissioners, you have these graphics in your packet, and we will be making these available to the public once we've gotten the annual report published and finalized. But we are up to 180 America 250 Connecticut affiliates. Again, the goal for this is 250, and we, in particular, with the need to be an affiliate to receive a sublicense, I think that will also help push the number of affiliates that we have as we move forward. 133 local committees formed, those 192 events here in Connecticut. We're estimating 420 people who are participating in planning these statewide activities. I have a strong feeling that it is actually a much larger number, but we know that we've had 420 different individuals involved in our different planning meetings over the course of the last year. But I think there are many individuals that can't make lunchtime meetings or day-long conferences that are involved in their towns locally. Connecticut Humanities has funded 54 projects that are tied to the 250th and the themes that have been set out by the commission. And we have granted out $589,000 to these projects. This number will also grow after our board meeting next week, as we know we have a good number of projects on board right now for both quick grants, which are smaller grant lines, and our major grants, which are planning and implementation grant lines. In 2025, we participated in 4 nationwide state commission convenings, and will continue to participate with those regional and national partners in 2026. And we have held 53 different commission meetings and gatherings, and those are just held by CT Humanities staff and our commission members. We know that, for example, the Northwest Connecticut local 250th committees are meeting, I believe it's monthly, to coordinate their planning. And there are all kinds of other smaller regional connections that are happening. And I wanted to take an opportunity to share the word cloud. At all of our commission events that have been open to the public, we've asked the question, in one word, how do you wish to feel after the 250th? We've been asking this question since 2023, when we had our first listening sessions with the public, and have been doing annual word clouds. And we will publish the shifting responses next year at the end of 2026, and we'll have the 4 word clouds. But some of the words that really stand out are free, inspired, hopeful, connected, and proud. And those are words that have resonated throughout the 4 years of planning. And then you will all have these to look closely at some of the words that are a little smaller on our cloud.
Great.
And so in other progress, just a few other highlights that didn't quite fit into our goals. We are continuing to work with other grant makers to identify 250th funding opportunities. We've spoken with then the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, now Greater Hartford Gives, about how their community grant lines can be used to fund 250th work. We've also spoken with the Community Foundation of Eastern Connecticut about some opportunities that they see for funding projects in 2026. And we will continue to encourage other community foundations to consider including 250th funding in their priorities in this year in particular. We hosted Give 250 Connecticut both in July and October of 2025, and facilitated over $30,000 raised for about 30 or 40 local committees across the state and affiliate organizations to fund their 250th initiatives. We created a tabling kit that was used at 15 events statewide in 2025, and we anticipate it'll be used quite a bit more in 2026, and have continued to fundraise on behalf of the commission for other endeavors that we're working on here in Connecticut. And so we are now talking a little more about 2026 goals and plans. I've touched on some of these, so I won't spend too much time. We will continue to expand the affiliate program and promote the hundreds of events that are going to be held by others statewide. We've also gone live with our data sheet that we anticipate to get feedback from. So we are collecting information on funding for 250th activities, attendance at 250th activities, and other qualitative data on the impact of the 250th, partially to kind of wrap up our initiatives and get a full and complete report back to the governor in 2027, but also to gather data to look forward to 2036 and Connecticut 400, and how these statewide commemorations can really impact arts, culture, tourism, and our community vibrancy here in Connecticut. We will continue to create new resources and share resources for education for both classroom educators and other educators who are looking for opportunities to teach about the 250th, and continue sharing those resources with our strategic partners throughout the state. We are looking at other conferences and opportunities for outreach. For example, we'll be at the Connecticut Library Association's conference, thanks to outreach from Margaret Kahn, in April of this year. And I'm sure there will be other opportunities statewide. Continuing to work on finding those liaisons in our last 36 municipalities. This spring, we'll be hosting regional gatherings that will bring together municipal committees and affiliates to coordinate the final stages of their planning, make sure they're all aware of what is happening. We'll be doing these at a COG level. The dates are published on the CT250 website, and we'll be opening up registration for these towards the end of the week so that folks can start to sign up, and we can start to get some counts about how many planners will be participating. But it's really a way for sharing existing plans and events and coordinating those efforts regionally as we move forward. We will continue our local committee and affiliate calls, update the planning guide and website. And one of the areas that we have been a little slower in terms of building has been really in identifying historic events, sites, trails, buildings, and using those to boost tourism and create kind of that tourism mechanism here in Connecticut. We are working with the Office of Tourism and CT Visit to launch a 250th portal on the CT Visit website. They will use their existing funds to push the 250th, particularly this summer, but kind of throughout the year. And we are working with them on different articles to highlight different aspects of tourism, whether it be things to do in Connecticut for the 250 with a family, things to do at museums, what exhibitions will be open, and so on and so forth. I'm sure there will be plenty of what to do on the 4th of July, and things like that. So they will be pushing that through their existing tourism channels. We are also working with the Department of Transportation and Andy Horowitz, our state historian, to create signage for wider to highlight objects related to the 250th and highlight Connecticut stories that will be through the DOT available at rest stops and other highway signs that they anticipate people will be traveling on quite a bit with the World Cup taking place in New York and Massachusetts, and with other travel between those areas. So we anticipate having more details to share in April about this project, but are excited to be working with our state partners. And as we spoke about back in October, we are working on an exhibition that can be loaned out to libraries, local committees, and other organizations that aren't necessarily creating their own exhibitions. We're gathering data on just how many folks are looking for that so that we can create the schedule for this upcoming year and get enough copies of it ready to go. We're using existing programs throughout the state, such as Red, White, and Blue Schools and the Civically Engaged Organization programs, to really highlight how different groups of people can get involved in things that tie into the 250th. So these are both examples of programs that encourage civic engagement, but we are doing similar things with history programs, such as promoting Connecticut History Day and encouraging students to use local history as a way to get involved with that program. And I'll say, I think we have covered most of this, so I won't go too in depth. But we will be sharing this PowerPoint online with folks. We're asking for any commission feedback on the annual report by Friday, January 22nd, so that we can finalize this and get it to the office of the governor next week. We will also be delivering it to all chief elected officials throughout the state with an ask to those who are not yet signed on with the commission to send over a contact. We will also be distributing this to funders and legislators in the next couple of weeks. And once we've gotten this all finalized, it will be up on our website and continue to be available to the public, as were our last few annual reports. So we have accomplished a lot together over the last, well, definitely over the last 2.5 years, but especially this past year. It's been a huge amount of growth, and we're very proud to have been a part of all of this. I'll go ahead and stop my share, but we're happy to answer any questions.
I was thinking this is a time that we could ask you all to tell us if there's ways we can, that you can help us network some of this. You heard Cindy asking, how we can get some of these questions out to the public or the towns. And if you could help us with that, I think it would be important. It's one way commission members can help, spread the word, because that's a difficult thing. When you start networking out there, we have the town network, but that, as you probably know, is probably a small group of people in each town. So if you have contacts, for example, in local schools or whatever network you're familiar with, please get this information out as much as you can for us. So, and if there's any other thoughts, yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Thank you for that presentation. And I would recommend, if we're going to have our annual report come out, it might be helpful for legislators who often get bombarded to print these out for them. And maybe we can put a cover letter on with a request for engagement with their local municipal leaders. And then I just wanted to confirm Friday, the 23rd, that's when you would like any comments back. Thank you.
Yes. That's a really good idea, Michael. And I think because I've had a lot of interest being shown now that it's 2026, everybody's interested. And many legislators have approached me and said, oh, what's my town doing? Or, what can I do to help? Or how can I be visible? So I would love to find more ways to engage them. I think they all want to be part of this. It's a very visible public thing. And these are people that, implement law and form policy. So they're very interested. So yes, Marianne.
I would ask, is there a place, or could we have a list of just like a quick bulleted list of the items that are available to people, like that we could be promoting? So whether it's, do you have a town committee? Do you have a town liaison? Do you have, do you want to become an affiliate? Like what are the kind of just key items? And then that way, we kind of have those things in our mind as we're talking to various people. One might apply, whereas others don't.
Good idea. We did the booth the other day. I don't know if we talked about it too much. We did a booth at the first of the annual agency kind of show and tell day here at the Capitol. And that's where a lot of people came by and had those questions. And it was because we had the map that showed which towns already had, and several legislators came by and said, oh, my town is not involved. Well, I'll get right on that. So that's the kind of thing I think it's helpful. But that map is a real quick, nice visual to show people. So, and I don't know if that's up on our website, is it? Yep. There you go. But we can certainly produce something. I feel like you do. Let's have the exact list of priorities or what's going on that would be useful for everyone to know. It's a fairly short list. It doesn't have to be a compendium, but good idea. Anybody else? So, yeah, just be in touch with your local legislators, even just those of you on the commission. I think it's helpful because they they know that's out there, but they don't know exactly how to get involved. So, okay. Without further ado, we will move on. So now we have subcommittee updates. We'll start with governance, and that's Ariane.
Sure. So the governance subcommittee continues to meet monthly to mainly with a focus on reviewing our affiliate applications. We receive anywhere from 5 to say 25 or 30 per month. And I think you saw in Cindy's presentation that we have just now 180 confirmed affiliates, which is great.
Yeah.
But we do still have a goal of 250 by July 4th. So hopefully, maybe the sublicensing issue will compel some organizations to apply. But I definitely would, encourage you all to continue reaching out, letting people know that this exists, maybe explaining that that licensing issue and how that could benefit them and their promotions. And yes, the list that as it stands is always updated on the website. So take a look and see. I mean, you'll find many different types of organizations, from the town committees to libraries and historical societies and lots of other types of cultural and community groups. So yes, please continue to reach out to people about this.
Okay. No action items or anything like that, right? We're building that affiliate list. Okay, great. Community calendar update. Somebody doing that? Oh, yeah,
We've
under
got
the
community and
communications, that's you.
organizational
Yes,
engagement.
right, sorry.
Denise, no worries.
Yes.
Well, Cindy has already shared a little bit about this, but the community and organizational engagement subcommittee has continued to assist with filling out that list of municipal contacts. If you follow the link in the agenda, you can see kind of where we are there. And again, we'd encourage others on the commission, if you have contacts in the towns without a listed contact, please reach out to, and someone there, reach out to Cindy and Rachel with that information. Cindy and Rachel and I sat down and kind of looked through the list of remaining towns last year to identify some strategies for moving forward with some of those through the contacts that we have in the museum and historical society community at my organization. I don't know what movement we've had there, but I was just looking at the list myself to see where we can continue to move that forward. The community calendar is listing a lot of essentially what affiliates are doing, I believe. And if you haven't been getting the emails, I assume everyone's been getting the emails. I came back from the holidays and I was so impressed by the number of 250th related events that were happening, as well as the great promotion that Cindy and Rachel were doing of what was happening and the fact that there was this community calendar. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, it's a great Google Calendar. You can go through and see everything that's happening across the state. And there's a lot happening. And I think that should make everyone around this table and watching online feel really good. There's an energy this year that is palpable. And I was pleased to learn that through the regional COGs, there are going to be gatherings of affiliates across the state, and those are listed on the website as well. So I don't know if there's anything that I've left out there, Cindy, but I think those on the subcommittee will be continuing to share this information out through the library community, through the museum community, through the arts community, through the history community, et cetera, through the historic preservation community, to continue to, again, get that number of affiliates up, and also ensure that we get to full participation from the towns. But I think there's a lot of energy right now as we hit 2026 and the new year, and people are finally saying like, oh, it's happening. So I think we can capitalize on that and kind of get to where we want to be with all of this outreach.
Yeah, thank you. It's really impressive, the amount of energy out there right now. I mean, we spent a couple of years trying to get people's attention, and now, boom, it's happening. And we're so fortunate. You guys have done such a great job on, getting that going, getting that network in place just in time.
And I'll say, I think one of the things I've been proudest of as while we look at this community calendar is the variety of different types of events. It is
Right.
not, I think there were some fears early on that it would be made up largely of reenactments and the same type of event throughout the state. And it is just such a broad array of um, lectures, workshops, um, events, gatherings that touch on the last 250 years of history and how Connecticut has evolved over time and how this is an opportunity to bring people together. So it's really exciting to see that folks have embraced this larger and all-encompassing view of the 250th.
Absolutely. Very good point. And well, I was just, there are a variety of activities. There's a lot of it, and it's coordinated. It feels very much like people are in touch. I just want to make a quick plug for these phone meetings we're having. I mean, there is a point to being an affiliate or a town member, because there are these phone calls that you're doing with the towns. What is it, every 2 weeks or every month? Every month, where people can share what they're doing. Those kinds of meetings are perhaps the most important, because you learn from others. And I think people have shared a lot of ideas, and I think maybe what we'll do from here on is try to promote some of these more interesting ones, or more, there's some unusual ones. I know I'm involved in helping Willimantic plan an event on July 4th, and it's a musical event. I mean, and we have someone composing a special piece for the occasion, and that sort of thing, and getting the school bands involved, and it'll be after the infamous boombox parade, so it's all kind of tying together with things that were already going on. But those are the kinds of things that we want to highlight, so other towns can do similar things in their towns. So okay, anyone else? All right, and now Steve, education.
Sure. And I would say that in my dealings with schools, in a lot of schools, elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, there's the revelation, hey, it's 2026. So the same sort of revelation is coming out by teachers and by students in interest. I don't know if we had met, but we had a webinar I think in November, we had a webinar on the Ken Burns series, and we had a copy of that, and we had teachers. This was for a teacher webinar. It was just for teachers. We had folks watching some segments. We had some practicing teachers talking about how they could implement that in their classroom. So that was a successful event. We're going to have a webinar tomorrow, again, an educator webinar, where we're going to be largely sharing the events, the teaching materials that folks from CT Humanities have created. And this again is for all teachers. And then we're going to have 2 more webinars in conjunction, in partnership with Connecticut Council of Social Studies, on specific strategies and specific themes that teachers can use when they're implementing 250. So again, it's good that teachers are finally getting involved. Panicked, an interesting call last week. I'm teaching this next week. Do you have any ideas? But hey, we'll go where everyone is, right? But yeah, so we have provided events and themes and resources for teachers, and we will continue to do that.
I have a quick question. I'd like you to discuss a little more what those resources are. I know they're online, but just generally, this commission has developed a set of materials or resources, or, things to look for at various grade levels. And I just want to make sure everybody knows about that, because again, you're in touch with people in the educational world, and the hardest thing in education is to get information around, because teachers are bombarded with things, and it can come from a lot of different sources. The beauty of our commission is that it is a trusted source. It's within the state. It's not a national group coming in with things they want teachers to teach. In Connecticut, I think we are considered, part of the Department of Education, which is a trusted source for teachers in our state. So I think particularly at this moment where we're very interested in American history, I'd like to know a little more about that.
And I'm going to ask my colleague Rachel
Okay.
to fill in.
Yeah.
Of course. So we do have on our website on ct250.org, we have a whole page that's dedicated just to educator resources. And we are building it out and we're adding things as we hear of them, as we see them, and as we create them. So some folks from our education staff at CTH have developed curriculum, which we've already discussed a bit, but for grades 3, 5, 8, and high school. And those are tied to the Connecticut Social Studies standards, and they're also tied to the Commission's 4 themes. So each lesson plan connects to specific standards and one of the specific themes, and there's suggestions for each lesson on how to kind of scale it up or scale it down. They're very customizable. And that curriculum also ties back to resources on Teach It and ConnecticutHistory.org, which are both CTH programs that are also connected to the Commission's themes and these social studies standards around the Revolution. So there's a real emphasis on Connecticut's history in the Revolution for those lesson plans. So those are available there. There's worksheets. It's the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and you can see kind of right behind us here. For example, with the grade 3 lesson, it's our town story, what makes our town special. There is a full educator guide with time allotment, learning objectives, standards, materials, step-by-step procedure for teaching this lesson, opportunities for assessment, and then there are also additional printables and worksheets that a teacher can just print out that's available for them in a variety of formats. And that is the same with each of the 4 different grade levels. So they are age appropriate, grade appropriate, and have all the details a teacher would need.
Yes. Yeah, and they're also provided as a PDF, a Word document, and a Google document. So whatever your school is using, it's easy for teachers to customize it for their students.
And I would just add that another beauty of this material is it focuses on local history. And for many teachers, that's sort of the home run way to get kids engaged in history. These are just not big national themes. Hey, something happened with this event in your own town. Let's study it.
Tied to that as well, there is a professional development where Misa Giroux, who made these lesson plans, kind of walked through how to use them, and we recorded it, and that's available as well. So teachers, if they're stuck or looking for some ideas, they can see her walk through that, and that's posted along with all of the lesson plans. And then other items that are on that educator resources page, there's some Connecticut specific resources and programs that we do here in Connecticut, like Red, White, and Blue Schools, Connecticut History Day. Those all have ties to the 250th, and those are linked out from here as well. Some Teach It lesson plans that have all been kind of brought together that connect to the Revolution. And then other resources and programs and toolkits that we've been either sent from national groups and other groups within Connecticut as well. So they're all linked there. And it's kind of a good one-stop shop where you can kind of see what's going on. We also have built out some field trips as well. I think that's towards the bottom there. Yeah. Yep. So field trips that are both virtual and in person and available around here.
Yeah, and most of these resources are split up into different grade levels. So grades K through 5, 6 through 8, 9 through 12, and are made available in that way for teachers.
And I believe those in-school programs are programs where they come to you in your classroom instead of you having to take your students there.
And just if I think some people know this, but the reasons we focused on grades 3, 5, 8, and high school is in the Connecticut Social Studies standards. That's the place where the America 250 topics are most likely to be used. Not to say that they couldn't be used in other grades, but again, sort of those are the home run grades for this material.
And I will say, as a former teacher and my involvement in civic education, it's difficult to find Connecticut-specific material. And this puts it all in one place, which is wonderful. It's both a resource of resources, but it's also got the actual lesson plans where a teacher can walk in and teach it without a lot of preparation. But I think that's a great thing, not only the local angle, but the state history, which, it's always nice to bring it in, especially now since we're one of the original 13 colonies. So this is our moment, right? So really great thanks to Steve and that committee for working on this. It's a really nice piece of work. And I think it's going to be a great resource for years to come. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Anybody?
I'll add one more plug.
Yeah.
We also have a recognition program that we started
Yeah.
for any student who's working on any project tied to the 250th and local history. So there's no specific guidelines on what they have to be doing, but we are sharing with educators, museum educators, local committees, and local historical societies information on how to get students involved and engaged in local history projects. And if they submit names to us, we're going to be getting them some certificates. And I believe the deadline for that is May 1st for submission. So,
Right.
that's it.
Yeah, and we are also approaching it from the top down because sometimes you do that too. So I've made presentations, Steve and I made a presentation at CAPS, which is the Superintendent's Association, and we are slated to do some work. We're preparing an article for CABE, the Association of Boards of Education, and because many of them might have an interest in this as well. So, and if anybody has any other ties into organizations where we can get the word out on this, that'd be great. Okay. All right, thanks. Thanks, Rachel. Okay, we're coming to the end of our agenda. Now we have time for public comment. Is there anyone here from the public who wants to comment? Oh. Where's our friend? He's usually here. Yeah, Juan. Is he here? No. Okay. Okay. So, if there's no other new business, old business, anything else anyone wants to discuss, we will call for the next meeting, which is Wednesday, April 15th, 2026, which will be very close to D-Day. We're not sure yet where. We've been having these meetings around the state, as you know, so we'll let you know where that next meeting will be. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay, second, anybody? Well, I don't know if we need a second. Anyway, meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for your participation, and let's hope we have a good year. Thanks.